Welcome. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite lenses. That's the RE Topcor 58mm 1.4. Now I'm only really making this video because there's no other videos about it. Like, this is an old lens from like the 60s. And like I said, there's like not a single person here on YouTube who's ever talked about these lenses, which just blows my mind because these lenses are actually absolutely amazing. At least I think they're amazing. They're really beautiful. I mean, look at this. This is perfection, you know. It's so good. I think I even like this more than my Super Takumar 50mm 1.4. Actually, ever since I got this lens, I've been shooting nonstop, mostly with this lens. But yeah, I really love this lens. But I'm not here to do a review about this lens. You know, I'm not a camera review person or lens review person. I'm here to give you information about it because there's almost no information out there, and I think this could help some people. Just a disclaimer, just because I like this lens or just because I use it, please don't go out and just buy it. You know, like, the message of my channel has always been gear's not really important, but please don't buy stuff just because someone on YouTube speaks well of it. You know, in the end, you're the one with the creativity and the vision, not the lens. This is just information for people looking for it. But anyways, the RE Topcor 58mm 1.4. Let me start off by saying that this is one of the heaviest vintage lenses I've ever used. And this lens would probably cost around $400 or something like that. But I got this one for half off because when I bought it, the guy said that it had some kind of film inside the lens, which happens because like over time, some of the oil just like kind of evaporates and it condenses on the lens. But I was able to open this lens, clean it up just as good as new, and I must say it has some of like the best internal organs of any camera lens that I've ever opened. You know, like, it just wipes the floor with Nikon, Canon, Pentax. It's an engineering marvel. But anyways, let me tell you about this lens. This is RE Topcon lens. If you don't know, RE lenses are like Topcon's like best top of the line lenses. Some people ask me like which Topcon lenses RE should I get, and pretty much all of them. Just to name a few, like, Topcon actually doesn't have that much of a lens lineup because they use the exact amounts. If you saw the previous video on Topcon history, the exact amount has a very thin neck, kind of limiting the design of how many lenses they can come up with. But the 35, the 50, the 55, the 58, I don't know if they have an 85, probably. The 105, the 135, they're all good lenses. You know, like, if it's an RE Topcor, it's probably going to be a good lens. And if you can get it for cheap, I would definitely get them. But anyways, back to this lens. This lens was so good, so ahead of its time that in 2003, I believe, Cosina actually got, I want to say they got a patent, or they got permission. They got the blessings from Topcon to resell the lens, you know. So they got permission from Topcon to like kind of remake the lens or redistribute it. And they did it with their Besiflex SLR. Now, just because Cosina made it and it says Topcon on there doesn't actually mean it's exactly the same. I mean, they made a few changes, better coatings, better improvements. But actually, the original Topcon lens came in an exact amount. But Cosina released like 1,600 of these lenses. Like 800 were for the M42 mount and like 800 for the Nikon mount. Like, I forgot which one. I think it was a Nikon F mount. But those lenses made by Cosina with the Topcon label, you might see them on eBay for like $2,000. And you know what? This lens is not worth $2,000. The only reason that you see those lenses for like $2,000 is because those are collector's items, you know. Those were Cosina Topcon lenses. There was only 800 done for M42 and 800 made for the Nikon F mount. But the original Topcon lens, you probably find it for around $400, you know. And is there any difference between them? I think there is, but I don't think it's by too much, to be honest. Like I've seen pictures from both of them. I can't really tell much of a difference. Now, this lens was so good that even after Cosina made like redistributed these with the Besaflex, I guess you can say they kept the design. And when they released the Voigtlander 58mm 1.4, they pretty much, I'm not going to say copied the design, but they kept the original design and they just tweaked a few things. Like they tweaked the formula for the glass, you know, made it more modern. They added new coatings, that kind of things. But if you own a Voigtlander 58 1.4, that's basically, I'm going to say like 95% a Topcon lens. Now, what's the actual difference between them? I can't really tell you. The people that I've talked to, because I am part of like a vintage lens collectors group, their words are that the Voigtlander is sharper, but like once you reach like f2.8, then the original Topcon lens is actually way better. So that's just really subjective. I can't really tell you, but since I own the Topcon original, I don't really see any reason for me to get the Voigtlander. I do have the Voigtlander 50 1.2, which is a beautiful lens. Let me just say, of all the 50s I have, that one is like amazing. But I don't usually talk about it because my channel is all about old, vintage, and affordable lenses. But you know, Voigtlander is pretty awesome as well. But anyways, back to the Topcon 58mm 1.4. I hope that information was very useful for you. And if you're considering Topcon lens, I would recommend it. These lenses are just sublime. You know, it's like the coatings are beautiful. Look at that huge front element. The only thing is, this is not an easy lens to use. You might be wondering, what do you mean by it's not an easy lens to use? I mean, the focus ring, the focus has a very, very long focus throw. I don't mean to sound technical, but like, one of the reasons I like the Pentax 50mm 1.4 is that I can just turn the lens really easily from infinity to like close up quite quickly, you know. They're very small lenses too, and it makes it easy for me to focus like really fast. But like if I'm using the Topcon 58mm 1.4, the focus throw is very, very long. You're there like rolling, moving the focus ring for long periods of times, and by the time you get to where you want to be, the subject already left or something. Or you could also say, because it has such a long focus throw, you can get very precise focusing, which is a plus. So one of the things I like to do, especially with this lens, is I don't want to sound poetic and stuff, but I like to pre-visualize the picture I'm going to take when I see it. And as I'm walking to the spot where I'm going to take my photo, I try to make sure I have the range exact on my lens. So when I do take the picture, just kind of change it a little bit, because that's really the only way you can use it. To be fair, it's more like a portrait lens. It is. It's supposed to be more of a portrait lens, in my opinion. But I love using it for street. You know, it's really awesome lens. And it's a real shame no one here on YouTube has ever even mentioned these Topcon lenses, you know, because they're really awesome. Like, just beautiful. Like, I first became interested in these Topcon lenses from the Korean photo blogs, because they're always posting. I follow a lot of photo blogs, you know, and they're always posting pictures of their lenses and the pictures they take. And when I first saw this lens, I was really interested in the name. Like, Tokyo Kogaku sounds really cool. And it sounds like a very vain thing to say, like, oh, I'm only interested in this lens because of the name Tokyo Kogaku. But like, the more I started researching about them and the more pictures I saw of them, and just the lens themselves are very beautiful and well crafted, like super well crafted. They make all the other lenses just look like poop. I can definitely recommend these lenses to people, and yeah, I hope that was enough information for you out there. Like I said, this is not a lens review by any means. It's just me sharing the information that I know about these lenses for the people out there who don't have any information about these lenses. And yeah, they're just beautiful lenses. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. If it was helpful to you, leave a comment. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you around.